All right, guys, this is TKSHobby back again, getting ready to do another portion of this Traxxas Rustler VXL custom build. Got a few more parts in. So here's my exploded view. Always got to keep an exploded view around just so you can make sure you got everything you need, parts and things like that. So I got my exploded view. I decided that I'm gonna go Mod 1 40-tooth gearing. Here's the part number for that. I gotta get back off the light a little bit. Anyway, this is the part number for that. 3955. That's the Mod 1 gear. This is for your Revos and your Jados, stuff like that. And of course, I'm gonna go with the slipper clutch. I'm gonna go with the factory clutch. And here's the part for that. This is 5556. Just the plates here, front and rear plate. And the inner working parts, the pads, the springs, different things like that. And also inside here is also a diagram on how to put this together. But I also got my exploded view to work with. Part number for that is 5552X. So these are the parts. Got my exploded view. Got my Rustler. This is where we're at right now. I'm gonna have to take this transmission off. I can show you how I installed it with the RPM, parts that came with this. There's a couple of things that you guys are gonna wanna see. But at any rate, right now, I'm just gonna assemble the clutch and then I can take this off when I get ready to put my rear A-arms and I can show you all about the installation at that time. So, without further ado, let's get some things opened up and get going. Okay, guys, here we go. You might hear a little music in the background, maybe not, I don't know, from my wife playing, but I'm gonna add a soundtrack as I do this. So I got a few pieces laid out. I open things up, like I said, and this thing is pretty straightforward. This is one of those large bearings like we use for the transmission. The 5x11x4 bearing. You just drop that in the middle of it like so, as you see. And then you take this part here and you have your little pads and these little pins on the pads. So you see the little pins here. These pads go on the pins just like so. Snap these on. Well, they kind of snap on. They kind of hold once you put them on, so you don't have to worry about them like falling off or anything like that. So we're just gonna put these on. And once I get this one lined up, it goes on here like so. I'm trying to use the hat cam, but you know how when you use these hat cams, sometimes buttons get in the way, so I've got it kind of on an odd angle. So I'm sorry about that. So anyway, now you take this little plate here and it goes on this part here. As you can see, it's got 4 little pins, so it's kind of hard to put it together wrong. You just make sure these little grooves are lined up on the 4 pins, like so. Doesn't really snap together, they just kind of lay on there, like that. Then you take this and you place this over top of that. Those go together like that, which I thought was weird, but it is the way it is. That's the way that goes. And then you take your gear and you place it, or you can even just set this down here and put your gear on here like so. Line it up. It's easier if you do it this way. And something that I don't know if anybody makes mention of, because it kind of presses in there like that. And this just kind of sits. But I'm gonna take, I don't know if I really need to do this, but just because my rule of thumb is to always lock tight anytime I'm putting metal to metal. Matter of fact, let me take this back apart just so I can get some Loctite in these holes here. Tight. Don't need a lot, just a little bit, just to make sure that when you put the screws in, back over there, that things will kind of stay in place. So you can line everything back up like this. And luckily this only has 3 screws here in my little tray. Okay. Get one screw started here. Started. I'm not going to tighten them until I get them all started. Tray. The other screw. Started. It's pretty simple putting this together. It's not rocket science. Just kind of, follow the diagram. If you got a diagram, if you're good at following directions. Move my hands out of the way so we can see what's going on. So now you can just kind of snug these screws up here. They don't have to be like super tight, Obviously hand tight is enough. That's my opinion, hand tight. It's plenty, and it stops turning freely with you just using your fingers. You probably tight enough. All right, and what's cool about this is now that you've got this together, you can come with your other pieces here. Your springs, there's 2 different springs. I'm like, that's kind of cool that they give you 2 springs. One is bigger than the other. And then you got 2 different nuts here. And I think it's just based on what axle you're going to be going on. You can use this, like I said, you can use it on the Revo. 3.3, you can use it on a few other cars, but I have this guy here. So let me find my little hole here. Of course, I don't want it to go, because of the way it sticks out. I think I'm gonna have to probably experiment a little bit. Okay, this one doesn't go on. That one does. So we know we're gonna be using this one. However, we do gotta get the pin in. And I believe it goes. Let's make sure. Just wanna look and be sure. I think it goes into this hole here. I don't actually remember which hole it goes in. So I'm gonna try this hole, because I don't want the slipper clutch to be too too close to things. I might have to reset it, try it again, but we can get it in this hole. Hang on a second, guys. I'm gonna have to line this up. So I'm losing my picture here. Trying to do this. Let's go into that first hole easy. Guess we'll just take these pliers that are just sitting here. Like, why don't you use me? Okay, I will. Trying to do this so you guys can see what I'm doing. There's 2 holes in this shaft. I'm trying to get the pin into one of these holes here. I'm trying to stay in the picture. There it goes. Slap the pin in there. Take this guy here. Slide it over the shaft to catch the pin. There you go. That plate came off. We're sliding it over the shaft. This till it catches that pin there. Hold everything sideways now. So we can do this and drop that on there. This is on here like so. So now that's on there. Obviously we take our spring and our lock nut. There's 2 different lock nuts. It's 2 different sizes. So you just grab the one. You can tension that up whenever you want, but you got an extra spring and an extra lock nut, but that's just putting this on here like so. I'm not gonna tension it up yet. I'll work on that when I get really ready to really set things up. But once you get this lock nut on, you tighten up that bolt, that nut rather. And that's it. And this is going to be my one gear. As you can see, it's on there. And I went all the way to that last pin because I wanted to make sure I got enough depth. And when I mount my motor, the shaft should be long enough for things to work. So that's pretty straightforward. That's how you assemble your slipper clutch. Yeah, I took the hat cam off. Something I just want to show you guys. I thought about it when I said I'd tighten this up later, but then there's something I realized that's kind of important that I remembered about how to tighten this, how to tighten this and adjust this slipper clutch. The reason why there's 2 holes in the shaft. The first hole closest to the transmission is for the pin that you slide the slipper clutch onto. And the reason I got this hex wrench in here, this hex driver in here, Allen key or whatever you want to call it, in here is it's in the second hole, the one furthest away from the transmission. That's the hole that you want to stick. You want to get your 1.5 millimeter Allen wrench, Allen key, whatever, and you want to put it in that hole, and that's how you hold it steady while turning. It just leans against everything, and then the clutch, it won't move, and you can tighten. It'll hold, and you can tighten it all the way up. And if I remember right, you tighten it all the way down. Then you're gonna have to hold it by hand, hold this wrench by hand. And then you just back it off a half a turn, a whole turn. Most people back it off a whole turn. I think that's the Traxxas recommendation, just back it off a whole turn. But that's what that is, you know, and then you want to use that second hole to put that Allen key in and hold your clutch still so that you can tighten up everything and adjust everything. So that's what that hole is for, that second hole. I thought that was important to mention. So I didn't want to leave that out. Again, don't forget to like, subscribe, help out the channel. Got any comments, any tips? I'm all ears. I appreciate it. We're all in this hobby. We do these videos to help each other continue to get the best bang for our buck. At any rate, this is TKS Hobby signing out.